So how much do you know about Ted Bundy?
Almost nothing.
Okay, so Ted Bundy is one of the most notorious serial killers of all time. He was born in Vermont, 1946. He grew up to be a successful lawyer and worked for Republican Party politicians, quite successful, motivated. But this guy had a bit of a dark side because his first kill came on February the 1st, 1974. At the university where he'd studied a few years before, he actually broke into the basement of a young girl, student, beat her unconscious and took her body up into the mountains.
God.
I know, quite dark. And after that event, loads more female college students started to vanish. So at the end of that spring, police were pretty concerned.
Sure.
So 5 women had disappeared at this point. No evidence, no witnesses, no link to one another.
No evidence whatsoever?
Absolutely none. They didn't know who to pin it on. The only slight clue that they had was that people in the area had seen a man wearing a sling, asking for help, carrying a load of books, to his tan-coloured Volkswagen Beetle.
And that's Ted.
Exactly. So in June, Ted Bundy lured a student back to his car, knocked her unconscious with a crowbar, handcuffed her, strangled her, and then spent the whole night with her body. So at the end of that year, he had killed 11 women, and by the following summer, that had grown to 15. But what was interesting is what actually got him arrested was just a minor road traffic accident.
Nothing to do with the killings?
Well, an offence, yeah. Nothing to do with the killings, just a road traffic offence. And when the police searched the vehicle, they found an ice pick, a crowbar, handcuffs and rope and a ski mask.
So not your standard stuff?
No. Pretty creepy stuff to have in the back of your car. So detectives worked out that Bundy was the guy that they were looking for, and he was charged with the kidnapping of one of his victims, Carol DeRonch. She was the one who escaped.
So just the kidnapping, not the murders?
Not the murders, just the kidnappings. So he was sentenced to up to 15 years in jail, but he also broke out of prison twice.
What?
I know. So free again. His killing spree continued. So he went on a rampage and he broke into a university called the University of Florida. He broke into a sorority called Chi Omega and killed 2 girls as they slept, strangling one and sexually assaulting them both. 2 victims that he assaulted at that house survived. A few weeks later, his final murder took place. 12-year-old Kimberly Leach, which is very young, very horrible.
Yeah.
She disappeared from her junior high school while walking back to class, and her partially mummified remains were found at a pig farm a few weeks later. So despite all of Bundy's kidnappings and killings whilst on the run, it was again a slight traffic offence that led to him finally being caught.
Again?
So a few days on from Kimberly's abduction, Bundy was stopped by an officer who spotted he was driving a stolen Volkswagen Beetle. And after a bit of a scuffle, he was handcuffed and the officer just didn't realise who he'd arrested but brought him in. His trial started in June 1979 and it was a huge deal because it was the first trial to be televised nationally in the US, and Ted represented himself, which was quite egotistical of him.
Arrogant,
and fits
some might
the
say.
whole, exactly, it fits everything about him. And after a month-long ordeal, the jury found him guilty of 2 of the murders and sentenced him to death.
Wow.
I know. So the night before his execution, 9 years later, when he finally was executed, he finally confessed to his crimes. He admitted to killing 30 women and girls. Even when he did confess, he blamed everything on other things. So he wouldn't accept responsibility. He blamed his difficult childhood, alcohol, porn, the media, anything you could think of. That was why he did it. On Tuesday, January 24th, 1989, Ted Bundy was executed in the electric chair at 7:16 a.m. in the morning.
Did he get his last meal?
So it is customary across the US for death row prisoners to choose a last meal, but he did not choose one at all. So he was given just like the standard death row meal for that time, which was steak done medium rare, eggs over easy, toast with butter and jelly, milk, coffee, juice, and hash browns.
Jelly as in...
Jam.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay.
And he didn't have a single bite. He refused to eat. So he died on a very empty stomach.
What a waste.